Chapter 5 The Doctor. This is your devoted friend, sir, the manifold linguist. All's well that ends well. Act 4, Scene 3. When I recovered my senses, I was lying on a bed and clad in the habiliments of an invalid. John was by my side, bathing my face and hands. "Thank God!" he fervently murmured. "Dear Captain Fred, do you know me?" And tears stood in his eyes. I could only reply with feeble pressure of his hand. My lips were dry, and I was parched with thirst. John gently raised my head and gave me a drink of cool water. In a few moments I felt refreshed. "There now, dear Captain Fred, begin to look ye like himself. Me feel so muchy proud to happy see that. What's happened to me? What makes me so weak?" "Muchy bad luck, Captain Fred. You've been terrible sick long time, 21 days," counting his fingers. "Good heavens! Is it possible?" "Yes, indeed. Terrible fever all the time. No sleepy, no eat, most gone die. If dear Captain Fred die, poor John die too." I was greatly astonished to hear this. I looked at my hands. They were white and thin. I looked around the room. It was a commodious apartment, the walls and ceiling of a bluish color. There was a cot, a table, a few chairs of red and yellow wood, and peculiar shape. In one corner stood an upright cylinder of metal communicating an agreeable warmth. On the opposite side of the room were two windows. A fresh sea breeze wafted through the lattice, mingled with the bright and cheerful rays of the sun. On a small table near by were glasses, spoons, and what seemed to be a medicine case. "Where are we? What is this? What place is this?" I asked. "On a small island in middle seas. Cannot say where. Must be near South Pole. Much strange peoples around here. Some with faces like shiny brass, some real like Indians, some blue like indigo. Talk such queer lingo. Oh, Captain Fred, so many strange things. Me feel much troubled. Seems as if we had fallen on wrangling land since we'd tumbled out of the iceberg, on little rock long way from here. The ice cavern!" And I shuddered at the dim recollection of that living grave came over me like fragments of some dreadful dream. "My ship! My comrades! David, where are they?" John bowed his face on his hands, sobbing like a child. "Oh, dear Captain, and almost break me heart when tell you. Poor David, he die next day when after we came here in a little boat. Good doctor tried hard to save him, but cannot do it. Everybody so kind. Poor David lie in little grave yard outside. No news from ship. Much afraid we never see her no more." At this dreadful news I sank back, overcome with grief and despair. "Oh, dear Captain, please no thinky about that. Make you feel so bad. Must think about own self, and nothing else. So can get well right soon." "How long were we shut up in the ice cavern?" "4 weeks." The watch ran down. How do you calculate time?" John produced a small pine stick covered with notches. "When the sun come round in front of the ice cave, me see a little light shine through cracks. Then cut a notch for a day. When we got around behind, all get dark. When come round again, can see light. That be another day. Then cutty another notch. Have cut one notch every day since." Handing me the stick. We had entered the cabin on the 1st of December, 1891. There were 28 notches on one side and 24 on the other. Today was therefore 22nd of January, 1892. 53 days had passed since we'd left the ship. "Guess Captain Fred can set watch all right now. Sun go all around the sky like a corkscrew. When he get up high, it be noon. When sink down, that be midnight," said John, as he opened a closet, took out my chronometer, and handed it to me. It seemed to be in good order. "Look at the sun, and when it reached the meridian, let me know," I said, winding up the watch. John opened the lattice. The sun shone full in the room, and was steadily ascending. After a few moments, "Sun tip-top in the sky," he said. I set the hands at the hour at 12 m. and lost time was restored at the South Pole. "Handsome young gentleman, what Captain Fred pull he out of the sea afore the shark eaten him up? Oh, Captain, you be bravest gentleman in this world, anyhow. He bring old yellow-faced man, much big doctor, so kind, take good care of you all the time." "Where is the doctor?" "In next room." "Call him in. I would like to thank him." John left the room, and in a few minutes returned, accompanied by a man of advanced years and clad in a long grey robe, his silver hair flowing to his shoulders. He was below the middle stature, of slender form, bright orange complexion, refined and intellectual expression of countenance. "This is the good doctor, Captain," said John, withdrawing respectfully aside. The doctor approached with a dignified salutation, took a seat by my side, fixed on me his keen eyes, felt my pulse, looked at my tongue according to the usual professional style, nodded his head with satisfied look, then taking a small vial from the medicine case, poured a few drops of ruby-colored liquid in a medicine glass of water, and presented it to me. I drank it. In a few moments the potent medicament seemed to penetrate my veins like a draught of wine. A new strength was infused into my weakened frame. The doctor viewed the change with manifest pleasure, then made a signal to John, who hurried out and brought in a steaming bowl of nourishment, and proceeded to feed me, his eyes glistening with pleasure as I appropriated one spoonful after another. It tasted like some peculiar kind of bouillon, rich and palatable, and I took a goodly supply. This concluded, he arranged the pillows so that I could sit up, and the doctor addressed me in a kind and gentle voice as follows: "Jana Yowanan, Atumios Samarandas, Mahajnazis, Atum Tavav." In these words I recognized that same unknown tongue I'd heard in the grand choral sung on the rocky ledge. "Doctor wish talk with you, Captain," said John. "So I perceive, but I'm sorry to say I don't understand a word of his language." "Doctor no speak English. He be foreigner, I reckon." "Yes, he appears quite foreign." "Captain can speak much foreign linguo. Suppose you try it out on him on that." If there is any one thing on which I prided myself more than anything and more than another, it was my linguistic acquirements. I had a natural gift for that line of study from youth, and my travels in foreign countries had largely facilitated my attainments in that direction. I could converse with tolerable fluency in nearly all the European languages, some of the Asiatic, and also the classics. So bracing myself up, I began: "Bonjour, monsieur. Comment vous parlez-vous? Parlez-vous français? Buenos dias, señor. Come le pasa? Habla usted español? Buongiorno. Come sta Matvesto? Parli italiano? Guten Morgen, Hein Herr. Wie Briten sind sich? Sprechen die Deutsch? Taler die Deutsch? Do you speak Danish? Taler Hersenski? Do you speak Swedish? Sprechen gin Holländisch? Do you speak Dutch? Gabensli aus par Ruski? Do you speak Russian?" The doctor smiled and bowed negatively. "Doctor no understand white gentleman's lingo. Never travelled abroad, I reckon. He hab yellow skin. Suppose Captain try him out in lingo what yellow-faced people's talkie." "All right, I'll try him out in Turkish, Persian, Arabic, and Hindustani." Then addressing the doctor with the usual salutations of those races: "Wakanez Kair Aslum manuscripts in Turkish? Dakan Sherman Dürken Alawish Kush Est? Saban Ishtisi ala Yakunsen Salam Akalimnom Hala Takalan Listen Bekaro." My apologies for all this. "Torhuri Kalahaname Ton Kami Ho Turn Hindustani Bol Sakuho." But the doctor seemed no wiser than before. "He no Turk, no Arab, no Hindu gentleman. Suppose Captain try him out in dead lingo." "What do you mean by dead lingo?" "What school gentlemen learn in college book, and talk he big proud to make grand show of lingo learning and mystifying, but never talk he in business, nor make he love by, nor swear by." "Your definition of the ancient classics is quite original, and not far from the truth, so I'll try him on Latin, Greek, and Hebrew." Then addressing the doctor with scholastic flourishes: "Salve Domine, como te habes? qui tibi nomen est as scientia latini? Oce cire past iusun ti so omna estin? Hellenski genocensis? Shalom leka adome? Haslom laka? Ma shikamum? Hayadita shepe ever? The doctor shook his head emphatically. "Humph!" muttered John. "He never been to college nohow." The doctor now rose from his chair, took from his pocket an elegant little card case, opened it, and drew out a small card on which was engraved strange looking characters, totally unlike the letters or symbols of any language, living or dead, known on earth. Then tapping his chest significantly and handing the card to me, "Theros zon Hemival," he said. Comprehending that he was announcing his name, I took a pencil and wrote my signature on the back of the card, and handing it to him, "Frederick Hamilton, at your service," said I. The doctor looked at the signature with much curiosity, turning the card upside down, etc., then shook me warmly by the hand. By this time I was quite exhausted, and threw myself back on the pillow. The doctor gave me another dose of his tonic, which revived me considerably, then going to the door, opened it, and a young man of medium stature, bright red complexion, broad forehead, strongly marked features, and remarkably penetrating eyes, entered the room. "Perozar Hypnotos," said the doctor, introducing him. The young man bowed, sat down by my side, and taking both my hands in his, fixed his brilliant eyes on mine. In a few moments I began to feel a wonderful magnetic and soothing influence creeping over me. I knew he was a magnetizer, and feeling some apprehension, endeavored to resist his powerful influence, but in vain. His gaze seemed to penetrate my very soul, and my will was held captive. The indescribable sensation passed through my frame. The magnetizer now gently placed his right hand on my forehead. I suddenly became benumbed, and sank into insensibility.